Hello and welcome to Channel KT4, broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube. You can join in by sending in questions during the show. Just press the comments button on the screen. Don't forget to click the like or share buttons. If you're watching on YouTube, please click to subscribe to Channel KT4. Please welcome my special guest, Nicola Davies, the president of the Cuddington Women's Institute. Welcome, Nicola.
Thank you, Graham.
It's really good to have you here and to join us, particularly on such a wonderful sunny day. I think we should be doing all these interviews, we should be doing them in our virtual gardens as opposed to sat inside.
I was tempted to try and talk to you from the garden, but I thought that might be a step too far.
Yeah, well, sometimes we've got to make sure that we've got a good internet connection. If I felt that in my garden I could do it, then I certainly would be in the garden. But never mind, it's still great to see you, and I'm really looking forward to finding out all about the Women's Institute. So, Nicola, what have the Institute been up to, and how have they been operating during the past 10 weeks of lockdown?
Well, it's been a challenge because the majority of us are not IT savvy. Shall I say? We all have a go. We have 93 members, of which only 3 do not have emails. So, but even so, swapping our meetings over to Zoom was a huge step, and I was absolutely thrilled when we had the first coffee morning. We tried to do a coffee morning, and we had about a third of the members came online. So we had 30 members, which now I've got to try and work out how I can persuade even more of them to go on to Zoom. But it's been tricky.
Yeah, now I've been told that you actually had a bakery afternoon. How did that work?
The bakery afternoon? No, what they did, we have a college called Denman, and they have been offering free baking classes. So you get your ingredients and you're all standing there and ready, and then you can bake. Or you could, another one they did was an Indian feast, which I think that just sounded amazing. I have to confess, I didn't actually do it myself, but I'm sure it was really exciting, yes.
That sounds really good. But I mean, Denman, you just mentioned that. I mean, this is the Women's Institute College. Whereabouts is that Denman in Buckinghamshire?
Yes, it is. It's near Oxford, and it's a college. See, the Women's Institute's been started in 1915, and I don't know when they purchased the college, but at some point they did. And they do residential courses there, and they do residential courses there, and day courses on almost anything. And during lockdown, they've actually been doing all the classes on Zoom. And there's been some amazing talks and cookery classes, and they've really adapted well. So if you're IT savvy and you can do Zoom and you can do all of these things, you could take advantage of Denman, which the majority of our members are sort of very active, very intelligent ladies in the community, but they do tend to be retired, or just retired, and this lockdown has really brought home to me that we haven't stressed enough the importance of IT in our world and the benefits of it. Because
I think we're all doing those sort of things as well. I mean, that's how this particular...
of my mother.
Yeah, I think this is how for me, this particular show has come about because of lockdown. I'm in the music industry, and everything in the music industry is ground to a halt. So I thought, okay, how am I going to utilize my time? And here we are, Channel KT4, and a couple of other projects that I'm doing. You mentioned about Zoom, and I gave an online lecture at the Art Society last week. And it was quite fun because a lot of the people in the Art Society were kind of like about to be retired, just retired. and they hadn't embraced the technology, and they were all coming onto Zoom for the first time, and it was quite a party they were having, you know, and I had to kind of like calm them all down so that they would actually listen to what I was having to say, which is quite good. But I've got a little picture here. It's not a big picture.
Try your coffee morning, white ladies on Zoom. That really was a challenge.
Yes, it was. I think I had.
They were all chatting at different times.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've got a picture of you with the Zoom bit going here. There we go, and also that's your book club I see underneath. So I just thought I'd put that in. But I've actually got a really, really wonderful picture here of this is the Women's Institute picture, right? And you've been inspiring women since 1915. That's not you, Nicola. That's the Women's Institute. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a central mission to the Women's Institute?
Well, in 1915, it was about engaging with the women in the rural society, because actually I read some literature from when it started, and it was amazing, the poverty and the lack of education among rural women and how cut off they were. And so it was all about inspiring the women to come together to help them support their communities and their families. And today, obviously, it's broadened a huge amount, and it's still about inspiring women, encouraging us within our communities to come together, to see our neighbours, and to get involved with things that interest us and concern us. So that's what we do.
I think that's absolutely amazing. But there's also, it's quite a structured organization, isn't it? I think I was reading that you need to tell me about the structure, but I think you've got the kind of like head office, the national part of it, and then you've got regional, and then you've got local. And whilst I was doing my little bit of research for today, I was surprised at how many local women's institutes there are within a 5-mile radius of KT4. Could you tell me roughly how many there are, and a little bit more about the structure?
18.
Sorry?
18 within 5 miles. 18 within 5 miles of KT4, which is amazing. It's incredibly popular. And when we're only 3 years old, Cuddington, but when we started, they were tremendously supportive of us, because they're full and they needed more seats, you know, more places for the ladies to come, because there's a huge demand. So anyway, so the National Federation of Women's Institute is there, and it's based in the King's Road. It's there to support us and to help us with information. So I was looking through the website, and they're looking for design, what do they call it? They call it technology experts, not experts, but you know, they're going to send literature to a member of the Cuddington, which is going to be me, about how to encourage people to use IT more and to try and help more with IT. So that's the sort of thing the national thing did. And they also, obviously, we have our very famous Royal Albert Hall general meeting. They organise that, and they really push forward our campaigns. So I think our famous ones is seatbelts, not smoking in public places. That they started campaigning about that in 1964, which must have seemed a very, very odd thing in 1964. But now we can't even believe life without wearing a seatbelt or smoking. But these things were what concerned our members, and what the national campaign then picked up on and then pushed forward as a policy. So that's what the national did. And then what they do is they fit it up, because Surrey, as you gathered, is a very big county and has lots of very local WIs. We come under Surrey. So they also support us and do campaigns. But it's vastly, vastly run by volunteers and people that care about the communities and things that are going on. So one campaign the Surrey one organised, which I was really disappointed we can't do, is the regional buses. So regional buses in the countryside have been decimated. There's hardly any regional buses. So this is a campaign that we were going to do nationally. And Surrey said, what we'll do is we'll do a survey, and all the local WIs must try and get to our head office in Guildford. All must come together, all on the same day, and then we'll have lunch. And then we'll write the survey down and we'll send it in and we'll show how terrible the buses are. Well, that was scheduled, and of course of lockdown we can't do it. But I was so looking forward to 2 hours on the bus with my fellow members, but I was very disappointed about that. But never mind. So that's the sort of thing. So it sort of filters down until you get to Cuddington, which is, it's more local.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating. Now, I've got a picture for you here, which I thought you might like to look at.
Yes.
That's it's a lovely picture which includes Her Majesty the Queen and the Princess Royal during the centenary celebrations in 2015. So could you tell the viewers what kind of relationship does Her Majesty have with the Women's Institute?
She's a member, and Princess Anne's a member, and members of the members, and they supported us. And if you want to be the member of the same group as the Queen, you've got to join Sandringham. I don't know what the waiting list is like, but it must be quite interesting. So there we go. Yeah, so she's a member, and that's yeah.
Now, I've just found something out that you've been up to, Nicola, and you've just signed up to be part of the National Federation of Women's Institute digital team. Now, that sounds very modern. What's it all about?
It's about encouraging our members, which I've been trying to do, but I don't feel like, well, I mean, obviously I have achieved something because we've been able to have coffee mornings and book club on Zoom. But I want to encourage more of the ladies to use the IT and to not be so afraid. And hopefully signing up to be the leader, I'm hoping that the National will send me information on how to do that. So that's something quite new for me that I've just signed up to do.
Right, okay. So good luck with that. I mean, it's certainly some new challenges ahead there, which is really good. And it's great that you're encouraging your ladies to really get involved with digital technology and with social media as well, I'm sure. Now, what do you think?
Most of them have Wi-Fi in the house, so it can't be that much of a leap. I think once you've got the Wi-Fi there, I think everything else should follow. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think Nicola, I think it's all about also having the confidence. Once you've got the Wi-Fi there and you've got the technology there, it's also having the confidence to sit down and just play. Because it doesn't matter if it goes a bit wrong. You just unpick it and start again. And the other thing that I've learned, and even when I was setting up this particular program, when I was setting up this particular program, how I did it was I kept going to YouTube, and on YouTube there has got to be a tutorial or a lecture on any particular subject you could ever think of, and just ask the question in YouTube and you'll get lots and lots of tutorials, and you just pick them out and you just pick it up and you learn from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not being able to press the button. I am amazed. I almost say it's a generational thing. If you watch someone who's over 80 pressing a button, they take their time. I'm a little bit slower. My kids are bashing at it like this, not afraid of anything. Unbelievable.
Okay. So here's a question. What do you think the standout achievements have been for the Women's Institute?
What do I think of the standout achievement of the Women's Institute?
Yeah, what has been?
It's definitely the campaigns that they follow through. Currently, the current campaign, well, they do a different campaign every year. So we've had, I'm just trying to get my act together. Dementia. Dementia is obviously very it's something that's affected a lot of us with relatives, and that is something that we've talked about as a group, that we bring to the forefront within our group. And so we've had a meeting where we spent sort of 10-15 minutes talking about it, and one lovely lady called Pauline Moss had a mother at the local care home, Devonshire House, and she asked for them to come and give us a talk. Unfortunately, due to lockdown, they weren't able to. And so I had this idea that, because I was listening to the radio, of ringing them up and finding out what support we could give them. And we ended up just writing letters to the residents, for the carers to read out at dinner time. So we've written them 13 letters that Pauline has just delivered to them. And it's poems and memories of childhood, and hopefully things that people with dementia will maybe at their mealtime they will connect with and help them in some way. We weren't sure how we could help them, and also we wanted them to have to think that they weren't alone. There they are, right in the middle of our community, having to cut themselves off from everybody. They're doing an amazing job. So that was a recent campaign that we did. There's been so many over the years. We were involved in equal pay, but that's also going a long, long way back. I also wanted to do, I got very excited about plastic, and I wanted to do about plastic recycling, and I wanted to get the ladies, this is also on hold with the lockdown, everything, our campaign plan has come to a halt, which is very frustrating, but I wanted to get the ladies to put on a piece of string all the plastic that they use in a month. So squash it all on in a meter long, and then we were going to put it on a nice big frame. And then when we were at the big day out, we were going to display it. And we could say, think about the plastics that we're all using. And then we were going to pick on a local supermarket, probably Waitrose, and we were going to give it to them. But that's like a small thing. I mean, we are very small. We're not about to go off, being real rebels, but we're talking about it and we're starting the conversation, which is the way that I see our campaigns. And it's one of the best things that I think that we do, is that we all sit down and we discuss these issues together. So
I think, Nicola, that this is the very essence and the heart, as I see it, as a humble man, that I see the Women's Institute are actually at their best helping and aiding the local community. I mean, the work that you did with the local hospice to do with dementia was just quite extraordinary. So I really support everything that you do, and I think it's actually wonderful. But at this moment in time, what do you think, or what are your hopes for the future?
For the future, when it's all over, I want, as a group, as a small group, as the president, my ethos has always been, I want to let the members know that the more they put in, the more they will get back, and the more meaningful it will be. So if they have anything, I don't know, if they want to organise, my next thing is I want to organise a walk, and I want to walk across the 16 bridges as a challenge in London. The 16 bridges challenge. I want to do that with them, and so I want to organise that. And if I can organise that with them, it will be a great day, and I'll feel really good about it. And I want to try and get that feeling across to the other members, that the more they put in, the more they get out of volunteering. And so, and just try and get more of the members involved in things that matter to them. That is my future objective for Cuddington.
That's brilliant. So, and finally, Nicola, what's coming up next for Cuddington Women's Institute?
Oh, Graham, you wouldn't believe it. On Friday, you are giving us a talk.
Am I?
On Zoom. Yes.
That'll be fun. Okay. And well, we're actually going to be talking about something that I'm quite passionate about. And, we've been talking about lockdown and all the things that have been cancelled, things that aren't happening now. And we're right at the cusp here of the rehearsals for the Queen's Birthday Parade, Trooping the Colour, because on the 13th of June, it should have been the Queen's Birthday Parade, which is not taking place this year, of course. And I was responsible for the music for that for a number of years. And so I'm hopefully going to be telling all your ladies all about how we put it all together, how we select the music, the rehearsals, a couple of funny anecdotes along the way, maybe. So I hope to see you. And we're going to have some Zoom time, aren't we, with that?
Yes. I will, I'm going to send out the Zoom invite now.
Okay, I've just realised, Nicola, I've got one last question I've got to ask you. I've heard that all your ladies are mad keen on football. Now, that's surprising. Please do tell.
Our biggest supporters have been Wongas, which is the local football club. And they allow us to meet in their clubhouse. And we're very, very grateful to them. And they've never flinched, and they've let us meet there, and it's been wonderful. And it's a great location for us to meet, right in the heart of KT4. So thank you very, very much, Wongas.
Yeah, it's great.
And we're very happy if they ever want support for anything to support. Yeah.
That's good. And so, Nicola, thank you for coming in. A big thank you, really, to my special guest, Nicola Davies, the president of the Cuddington Women's Institute. It's been a joy to chat with you, Nicola, and I wish you all success with the Institute in the future. And I certainly looking forward very much to seeing all the ladies on Friday when we do our little lecture. In the meantime, thanks very much. Great to see you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. So coming up next on Channel KT4 is Councillor Phil Neal, Epsom and Ewell Borough Councillor. If you'd like to ask Phil questions, you can send them in during the show or post them on the Channel KT4 Facebook page between now and then. So thank you for watching. Stay alert and stay safe, and I'll see you all soon.